Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Great to have you here. Thanks for clicking on this video. You know what's happening. It's Premier League predictions time. This is something I want to start doing every week if I can. I might not always be able to, but I think I'd like to have it as a weekly thing, right? Before every match day in the Premier League, let's talk about the fixtures, what I think is going to happen, all that good stuff. Okay, so the international break was long, wasn't it? Even as someone who gets to watch England win every game, right? It still drags. Okay, it just, you don't realise how much your life depends on there being, games of football you can watch on the weekend and even midweek sometimes to kind of just keep your sanity. I am still horrendously ill, so apologies for that, for having a croaky voice and stuff. But here we go. Right. So let's talk Saturday. Let's start off with Burnley v Chelsea. Okay, these should be in order. I've written them down. I'm assuming I wrote them down in order. I actually made these predictions quite a while ago, and that'll be relevant to some of these games. But let's see. Burnley v Chelsea. Ooh, I've gone with a spicy 2-1 to Burnley. I think Burnley get a win here. Chelsea are just quite inconsistent as a team at the moment. You kind of don't really know what side is going to turn up and how they're going to perform, right? Of course, they do have Caicedo, who is basically a cheat code at this point. But still, yeah, without Cole Palmer, you just can't trust them in any should-win game, you know. Sometimes they get it, but a lot of the time they don't. And I think Burnley, the scraps of form that they have had, or scraps of good fortune, should we say, have come at home, generally speaking. So yeah, I'm going with Burnley 2, Chelsea 1. Next one, Bournemouth v West Ham. This is an interesting one because West Ham almost look like they've had a couple games where it's like, are they about to turn this round? But I think the easy thing is to go, oh, West Ham are back. That, they'll get a result here or whatever. I'm going to do the difficult thing and say that no, this does not mean West Ham are back. I still think they're in pretty decent danger of going down. That being said, they do have Jared Bowen. But yeah, I'm going Bournemouth 4, West Ham 1. I just think Bournemouth have... it's not a hot take, is it? Bournemouth have been excellent this year. They've done really well. I think they've only lost games to Liverpool and City. If that's a fake fact, then call me out on it. But I think that's true. They're really solid. They do concede a lot of goals, which I think worries me, which is why I've said they won't get a clean sheet. But yeah, I think they'll batter West Ham. We'll see. Brighton v Brentford then, at the Amex. I've gone with a 3-2 to Brighton. Brentford are another one of those teams. Every year, people try and write off Brentford, don't they? Every year, it's like, oh, well, this year they're going to fall off. They lose Ivan Toney. Then they've lost their manager. It doesn't matter what you do to them. They just keep coming back, don't they? They just keep staying in there, getting results. One of my colleagues actually is a big Brentford fan. She's got a season ticket, which is very cool for her. So she goes to a lot of games. And she says that the atmosphere, at the G-Tech is just always popping. And I think, of course she would say that. She's a Brentford fan. But yeah, I'm going Brighton 3, Brentford 2. Brighton also actually haven't been very trustworthy this season. They're kind of, I think in people's heads, they're still that great team that was finishing 5th, getting into the... Was it 5th they came? And they got into either the Europa League or the Conference League. I think people still imagine they're that team. But realistically, they are... You do have to worry about them. I don't think Brighton fans are necessarily comfortable. But I do think they'll win this one. Again, both teams difficult to predict, but I've gone 3-2 Brighton. Excuse me, my gosh. Fulham v Sunderland up next. What's going to happen in this one? I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Pretty boring game. Fulham, I always hate to say this, but because it's not really fair to say about any team, because what does this statement even mean? But I am a little bit tired of Fulham being in this league, to be honest. I wouldn't really care if they got relegated. I just think they're just always, they've had those hints of oh, maybe they're going to be really good. Can they push for Europe? And they just never do. So ultimately, they're just not really contributing to any excitement. Yeah, I think they're a bit of a boring team, Fulham. Sunderland, however, the complete opposite, coming up in this current state of the Premier League, should we say, as the playoff winners. Right, by the way, didn't even win or come second. Were they sixth? Were they sixth in the Championship? Well, that could be wrong, but either way, they came from the playoffs and they've just taken the league by storm. It's so cool to see. I think they're in the top 4 at the moment, aren't they? That being said, while it feels like they win every home game, this is an away fixture and they've not been great away from home. Of course, coming off though of a 2-2 draw against Arsenal, right? The first team. Wait, is that true? Hang on a minute. Yeah, the first team in all competitions this season to score 2 against Arsenal. That's pretty incredible. That's something you've got to give to them. But yeah, still not great away from home. I'm saying a 1-1 draw. Next, we've got Liverpool Forest. Liverpool, one of the hottest teams to talk about at the moment. They've just been in dreadful form, haven't they? It seems to be going wrong almost every week for them. I have actually gone with a 2-1 win for Liverpool, though. I think they'll win this one, right? Surely they've got to. This is at home. They did lose this fixture last season, right? Famously. They lost 1-0 at Anfield. I think it was 3 or 4 games into the season. And it was a bit of a shock, but then they did go on to win the league. It didn't matter. I think they'll be fine in this one. If they're not, good grief. Forest have been in tatters this year. They've sacked 2 managers already. Can't get a win to save their own lives. Yeah, I think Liverpool win 2-1. So nothing incredible, but I think they get the job done. Wolves v Palace then. I've gone with a 3-0 win to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are so strong. I think they're one of the most exciting teams to watch at the moment. Really good tactics. I mean, Oliver Glasner, I just like him. I really like him. I like his demeanour. I think he brings a really cool vibe to the league. And of course, I think that is reflected in his football. It must be so exciting to be a Palace fan at the minute, having won that FA Cup. You're losing big players every summer, but still managing to be competitive. It's really cool to see. That being said, pretty much the opposite of all of that for Wolves. They've been shocking this year. If you've watched any pitch side, right, that's propping up the table. Niche. No, I was about to say niche reference. That's not very niche. Pitch side are massive, but yeah. Wolves is looking pretty bad, isn't it? They're almost guaranteed to go down if something big doesn't happen fast. With that down, final one of the Saturday games then, we've got Newcastle City. I'm assuming this is the 8 o'clock kickoff. Might be a 5:30. I'm not going to check now. Newcastle v City at St James's Park. Newcastle have been pretty shocking this year, and unfortunately, I think they will lose this. I'm going to say Manchester City, win this. 2-1, I've gone. I don't think it'll be massively convincing. I don't think they'll dominate them. Newcastle are really good at turning up in a big game. They almost did it against Arsenal earlier in the season. They've been good in the Champions League. They were decent against Barcelona, right? Rashford double had to kind of sink them. You just can't trust Newcastle to do anything at the moment. That being said, Nick Voltemada, it might be my favourite player in the league at the moment. I love him. I think he's brilliant. I'd love him to be playing at my club. My club being a surprise still. I'm not telling you that. But I think City win this. Probably 2 goals from Haaland, because if it's not him, who is scoring for them? Okay, moving on to Sunday. Super Sunday. It's not really. There's only 2 games. We got Leeds versus Villa first. I'm going to go 2-0 Villa. Nothing too interesting here. Villa were doing pretty poorly. They've turned it round. Big props to the team, but also Unai Emery. I think as soon as anything goes wrong at a club Unai Emery's at, people are quick to go, yeah, see, he's terrible. But this is just one of those cases where he's proved everyone wrong again. He probably is a little bit disrespected. But yeah, I've gone 2-0 Villa. Leeds, not that good this year. They are at home, but that hasn't seemed to mean too much. You know, it's not like a fortress at Elland Road or anything, like it has been for, Sunderland I almost said the wrong stadium there, at the Stadium of Light. So yeah, 2-0 Villa. Then this is probably the fixture of the weekend, isn't it? Of this match day. I guess Newcastle City is kind of exciting, but of course it's the North London derby, Arsenal versus Spurs. Now I had written down from 2 weeks ago, Arsenal to win 2-0. Every year it feels like they just win against Spurs, like consistently. I can't remember. Have Spurs gotten a result against them in the past couple of seasons? Maybe. Oh, there was that game at the Emirates, wasn't there, where Saka and Maddison were doing each other's celebrations. I think that was the last time Arsenal played Spurs and didn't win. That being said, Spurs are under Thomas Frank, but they've looked a bit shaky recently. Shaky's not even the right word, but they've just not looked too strong. They've not looked too scary. That was the other thing, yeah. So I had written down 2-0 to Arsenal, right, at the Emirates. Another clean sheet, right, pretty routine for them. But, of course, if you've not seen, Gabriel, who is arguably their best player, has gone down injured. And of course, they do have depth at the back, of all places, because they haven't had too many injuries there this season. They've got Hincapié to come in. They've got Mosquera, who could play there. You could even bring Calafiori inside to centre back and start Lewis Skelly or something. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who Arteta starts, given that they've lost Gabriel, who again, he's kind of been one of the players of the season. Is the one everyone's talking about with Arsenal. So for him to go down, I think is big. I'll maybe say 2-1 Arsenal. I still think Arsenal win this. I don't think this is one where they stumble. They're the big brother at this point. You know, it's men versus boys when Arsenal play Spurs. That's how it's felt anyway in recent years. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with an Arsenal Spurs win. And Arsenal are just annoying, aren't they? They just seem to win and get a clean sheet. It's like 1-0 every week. Okay, last one then. On to the Monday night football. You got Man United versus Everton at Old Trafford. Potential for an upset here. I don't really think so. I think United win this. I've written 2-1, so I'm going to go 2-1 Everton. Sorry, 2-1 United. Yeah, Everton looked like they were having an exciting start to the season, and then it kind of didn't really go anywhere. I've never been massively convinced by David Moyes. I think he shows up at a club and he can create that spark for people to kind of be like, oh, there's hope. But then he just sort of dwindles away and ultimately ends up getting sacked not too far down the line. So yeah, I'm going to say Man United win that one 2-1. It's crazy, by the way, that we're in a place where we can just say, we feel we can trust United to win games. Given how the season started, that's pretty incredible. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. That's my Premier League predictions. I know I think it was quite quick fire. I didn't really spend too much time on either one, but yeah, wanted to get this done, wanted to get this out. Yeah, I will. I think, well, in future installments in this series that I hope I can continue, I'll be able to comment on the previous week's predictions. Obviously, there's no previous week for this one. This is my first time doing it. So yeah, next week I'll be able to review these fixtures, just see what, how many I got right, how far off was I on some of them. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you for watching, and yeah, tune in to some games this weekend. I'll set a challenge for you. Don't watch the team you support, right? Watch a different team. If you've only got time for one game, watch a different team. I know that's a weird piece of homework, because who's gonna not watch the team they support? But yeah, yeah, that's all from me, guys. And remember, be yourself. Be yourself. Okay. Peace out, guys.